that's the other thing about the British bands was you had to play a lot of variety of music to work. You know what I mean? To do a wedding or to do whatever. You had to know all styles, you know. So that was the other thing. We learned to play a lot of different styles.
You know, an observation from someone. I mean, I'm from Scotland originally, but from Glasgow. You start talking like this to you then.
Talk like you're from Glasgow.
All right, but I'll work on it because I'm talking. Yeah, I'm getting it now. But was the fact the British bands did something else? People stopped dancing to listen.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, you did the stadiums, you did the large thing.
What's this rubbish?
Yeah. Yeah. What is it?
No, they did. Yeah, they started because, as I said before, you know, trying different things.
Right.
But it did all start. A lot of the bands started out as dance bands.
Yeah.
You know, we all did.
Yeah.
It's the only way we worked.
And the clubs.
And then when we started to get a bit of a name and change it around a bit, that's when people used to start getting curious. What's going on here? You know? And that was it. I think Sgt. Pepper thing helped all that.
Right. It did.
That was an experimental thing done by someone who, you know, the Beatles were a dance band. Come on, in Germany.
Sure. Yes, it was.
If you couldn't get people dancing, you didn't work. So.
Yeah. When you came into Wings and Wings was, you know, just breaking out, was that transition for McCartney particularly difficult? I mean, did people receive Wings right away, or did they? How was that part?
It was a bit weird because, well, you know, first of all, he's got his wife in there.
Well, there's a point.
And there was a little bit of thing of like, you know, with Lennon and Yoko Ono, and a little bit what's going on, you know. But I was a friend of Paul's from before. So in the Moody's worked with the Beatles and stuff, and we were friends. You know, we all came down to London at the same time. So he kind of picked me because he knew I could do a few things that he wanted, and I wouldn't be in awe of him, and you know, it would be like a friendly thing. We weren't trying to sort of blow anybody away, and we weren't that frightened about trying to top the Beatles, or in my case, the Moody Blues. We just wanted to get together and make a few records, and, you know, just for the sake of working, really. What we did was we started and we did an album, very sort of rough album. Then we went to all the universities and towns and we played live just to people who were like, you know, in-house students, people like on campus, as you say, living in. So we had a ready-made audience and we just kind of got good by doing that kind of thing. You know. We started getting accepted in Europe. And then we did a big tour, and you know, the band got better. As soon as the band starts getting good, and then you know you can compete with anyone. And we was doing all original material, you know. I mean, he didn't play any old Beatles stuff, apart from a little acoustic set we did. You know.
Yeah, you hardly did you?
No, because that was the idea. Yeah. The idea was to get completely into something new, you know. Yeah. And that way they can't judge it against, you know.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the Beatles.
Yeah, right. Or the Moody Blues.
Exactly. But we had fun doing it as well, you know. And the money wasn't bad.
Paid the rent, bought the groceries.
We never made any money prior to that, not really. Yeah. You know, I mean, I didn't. I mean, we spent everything we was making as we were going. But the Moody's actually got famous on the Chuck Berry tour. He came to do a tour. We were second on the bill. We had Gono out, and because of playing to live audiences and that kind of situation every night.
Well, the Moody's talk about transitions and something new. The Moody's took music into what? Almost a symphonic kind of a thing. You guys started the strings, and man, that stuff got really musically complex. Not in a bad way, but it was really well done, orchestrated well, and everything.
Yeah. Well,
the chord progressions and structures.
First of all, Mike Pinder, the keyboard player, worked at Mellotrons. And Mellotron was, you know, the machine that had tapes in it that simulated strings, brass sections, whatever. They were only used in studios, you know, and for film work. Well, they had one made which was taken on the road and used. We used to play pianos, and most of the pianos were out of tune. And because I played harmonica, we'd be keeping people waiting to go on stage, you know, while they tuned the pianos. So that developed into them after I left using mellotroners. Then the people from the keyboard companies were coming in saying we can make something a little bit more advanced than that, and that's how that came about. So they helped the synthesizer thing. Again, getting back to the Beatles experimenting in the studio, they could then do some of those things live. Let's face it, the Beatles never worked live with all that strange music that they came with. The Sgt. Pepper's never worked live. The Moody's kind of became the band that could do all that live, you know, and that's what gave them that. You know, this is a different band. But you know, there's just a bunch of guys from Birmingham who all started out, like I said, playing at weddings and bar mitzvahs and you name it. You know.
You've done well, sir. You've done well.